Okay, what is a transactional SQL? In transactional, it's in a transaction, SQL is a group of SQL operations that are executed as a single unit to perform a specific task on the database. It follow ACID properties to maintain integrity. Key feature ACID property. Atomicity. All operation must be success or none will happen. Consistency: the database must remain in valid state before and after transaction. Isolation: transactional transactions execute independently without affecting each other. Durability: once committed, changes are permanent even after system failure. Transaction commands: being being a transaction, start a new transaction, commit, save the changes permanently, roll back, undo changes if any error occur. Save point: set a point to roll back to previously. Okay, what is the difference between commit and rollback? Commit is save the changes made by the transaction permanently into database. Once executed, changes cannot be undone. Syntax is commit. Used when all operations are successful, improve data durability. In the rollback, undo all changes made by transactions, restore the database to its previous state. Syntax rollback used when any error occurring during two transactions. Used when any errors occur during the transaction. Help to maintain data consistency. This is update set where ID 101 commit and rollback if error. What is a save point in a SQL? Save point in a SQL is a use to temporarily save a transactional at the specific point, allowing to roll back only part of transaction without affecting the entire transaction. Key points: allow setting multiple points in transactional, help in partial rollback, improve error handling used with rollback. Syntax: big transaction update salary sets and when okay. Explanation: the first update will be saved. Okay, the second update will be rollback and remaining changes will committing. Okay, what is the difference between in and exist? In compare from main query with a list of value, work with static value or subquery, slower with larger data sets, return all matching rows. In exist, check if subquery return only or exist. Checks if subquery returns any rows. Only work with subquery. Faster for larger datasets. Stop checking after the finding the first match. What is the difference between delete and truncate? Delete: remove specific row based on the condition using with where clause. Can be rollback using rollback if inside a transaction. Slower because it's log each row deletion. Maintain table structure and identity column values. Truncate: remove all rows from the table without any condition. Cannot be rollback once executed. Faster because it does not log individual row detection. reset identity, columns value, and initial seeds. What is a index fragment- fragmentation? Index fragmentation occurs when the logical order of index pages in the database does not match the physical order of data on disk, making a data retrieval slower. Type of index fragmentation: internal fragmentation, unused space inside a index page due to data deletion or update. External fragmentation: in index pages are stored in non-SQL order, causing the slower data access. How to check uh, index fragmentation? Fragmentation. Okay. How to fix? Use optimized table to recognize index page. Conclusion: the index fragmentation slow down the query performance, should be fixed regularly to maintain the database efficiently. What is the difference between rank and dense rank? Rank: assign a unique rank to each row, but skip the next rank if there are duplicate values. Gap are created in ranking sequence. Slower performance as compared to dense rank. Dense rank: assign a unique rank to each row without skipping rank if there are duplicate values. No gap in ranking sequence, faster than rank because it doesn't skip rank. How to fetch common record from tables? To fetch common record from table, you can use inner join clause with SQL. What is the difference between union and join? Union is combination of result set vertically, means rows, from two or more table. Remove duplicates by default union or include duplicates with union. Table should have a same number of column, and, column and data type. Use when table is smaller when used table has similar data. Join. Join combination result set horizontally, means column base or common columns, does not remove duplicates. Table can have a different number of column. Used when the table have create related data through a column common column. What is a pivot table in SQL? A pivot table in SQL is used to transform raw data into column data to provide a summary report of data sets. It's commonly used to perform data aggregation and present data in more readable format. Key points: convert row into columns, use generate summary reports, help in data analysis, commonly used with aggregation function like sum, average, count, etc. Okay, the pivot table help to summarize large data set and present them in structure format. What is a case sensitive SQL? Case sensitivity SQL is preferred to database treat uppercase and lowercase letter as different or same when performing the query. Key points: column name. Most databases are not case sensitive, MySQL and SQL Server. Table name. Case sensitive depend on the database and operating system. String values. By default, MySQL is in case insensitive for string comparison. Example of MySQL Okay, look at that. Vinay. Okay, sign. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Using a subquery, for example, the like salary. काही झालेलं आहे. ठीक आहे. What is a recursive query? Recursive query in SQL uh, is a query that refers itself to perform a repeatedly operation until a specific condition is met. It's a commonly used to process hierarch- hierarchical data such as employee manager relationship or organizational structure. Key point use a handle hierarchical data and implement using a CTE. The recursion continues until the termination condition is satisfied. And these are the table with the recursive query. Okay, using a CTE. What is the difference between temporary table and CTE? Temporary table store data physically into temporary memory. Need to be explicitly created and dropped. Can be used multiple times with session. Support indexing and DDL operation. Slower for small dataset. CTE store data logically without the physical storage. Automatically disappear after the query execution. Can be used only once in the same query. Does not support indexing or DDL operation. Faster for small dataset. Conclusion. Use temporary table when needed to be reused multiple times. Use CTE for short-term data manipulation and improve the readability. What is JSON in SQL? JSON in Java script object notation. In SQL is used to store, retrieve and manipulation data. A structured text-based format with a relational database. Key point. Store the key value pairs, lightweight and easy to read, commonly used in semi-structured data. It supports MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. For example, create a table ingestion column of a data from JSON. Okay. Super query dictionary. JSON help to say handle semi-structured data with a relational database without need for separate NoSQL database. What is XML? Extendable markup language is used to store, retrieve, manipulate structured data in text-based format within the relational database. Store data in hierarch- hierarchical format using a text, commonly used for data exchange between the application. Supports SQL Server, MySQL, and Oracle. Helps to store semi-structured data. हे बघा आता याच्यातून डिटेल्स घेतल्या टेक्स्ट XML फॉर्मॅट मधून. ओके. How to handle null values in SQL? Null represents missing or unknown data in SQL. Method handling null value is null to check if null content null. Columns is null to check if a column contains null. Is not null to check if column does not contain null. Coalesce replace will null with default value. If null, replace null with specific value. Null if return null two expression are equal. डायनॅमिक SQL सांगितलेलं आहे. पर्सेंटेज कॅल्क्युलेट करायचे एक्झाम्पल दिलाय. हाऊ टू फाइंड आउट हु इज अर्न मोर दॅन मॅनेजर हा एक दिलाय बघ. सिनेरिओ आहे हाऊ टू फाइंड डुप्लिकेट ईमेल्स, get highest salary using max function how to find the join last 3 months using join date current date table using add, how to display first 5 record using a limit, how to find number of employees in each department. Okay, how to find last 3 records using limit, using rank dense rank. ओके विदाउट मॅनेजरचे कोणकोणते ते बघू. रिजनल त्यांची मॅनेजर आय डी रिजनल आहे. जिंग लेफ्ट जॉईन बी करू शकतो. ओके इनर जॉईन lead group by optimization techniques. How to optimize SQL queries. Optimizing SQL queries improve performance and execution speed while handling large data sets. Best practice to optimize SQL. Use indexes to create index on column. Use in where, join and order by clause. Avoid select. Select only require columns instead of using select. Use join efficiently. Use inner join instead of outer join. Use exist instead of inexist. Perform better with large data set. Use a limit or top. Fetch only require row using limit or top. Avoid function in where clause. Okay, this is select star from employee where upper name. Select star from employee where name equals to Vinay. This is your proper formatting. Optimizing subquery. Use join instead of subquery whenever is possible. Partition large table. Split large table into smaller partition using CTE and temporary table. Store temporary result for better performance. Analyze execution plan. Use explanation or query plan to check know how query are executed. Okay, what is a query execution plan? A query execution plan is called a detailed roadmap used by the database engine to execute SQL query. Key points show how the data will retrieved, help analyze performance and optimize query. Display the record of execution for each query operation like a join, scans, and sorting. Provide information about indexes, table scan, filtering methods. In MySQL, okay, this is the plan. And why use execution plan? To identify a performance bottleneck. Check if the query using index or table scan. Understand how join and filter and applied. Okay. How to improve query performance? Use improve query performance, ensure faster data retrieval and better database efficiency, especially for larger data sets. Best practice to improve query performance. Use index, create index on column, use where, join and order by clause. Avoid select. Select only require column instead of select. Use join efficiently. Prefer inner join over outer joins when is possible. Use where instead of hide. Filter row early using where. Limited result. Limit result. Fetch only required number of rows. Use exist instead of in exist. Perform better with subquery. Avoid where clause. Use partition table. Use temporary table. I think indexing झालंय, टेबल पार्टिशनिंग बस फिरलो काय. What is the indexing? Indexing in SQL is a technique to use to improve the speed of data retrieval from a database by creating lookups table for faster access. Key points work like a book of index final data find the data quickly, reduce the time required time for select queries, automatically update when the data is inserted, updated or deleted. Index are created on column frequency use where join and order by clause. Primary index created on primary key columns. Unique index ensure that value in column are unique. Clustered index sort data row physically based on the key value, only one per table. Non-cluster index store pointers to data row, multiple indexes allowed. Conclusion: indexing improve the query performance by quickly locating data, but many increasing the time of inserting, update and delete operation. What is a table partitioning? Table partitioning is a technique used to divide large table into smaller, one or more manageable pieces without the changing table structure. It's a improve query performance on large data sets. Simplified data management, help faster data retrieval. Each partition is stored separately. Data can be partitioned by range, list, hash or composite method. Type of partition: range partition, divide database on a value range. List partition, divide database on the specific columns. Hash partition, hash partitioning, distribute data evenly using a hash function. Composite partition, combination of a range and a hash partitioning. Conclusion: the partition improve the performance uh, and data management by splitting large dataset into smaller or more manageable sections. How to avoid deadlock in SQL? A deadlock occurs when two or more transitional blocks, each other by holding locks on resources that other transactional needs. Avoid deadlocks. Access table in the small in the same order. Always access table in a constant sequence across the transaction. Minimum lock time. Keep transaction short and faster to reduce lock holding time. Use lower isolation level. Use read commit instead of serialization. Serializable isolation level is possible. Avoid user interface inside transaction. Do not wait for user input during the transaction. Use no lock or read uncommitted. Allow non-blocking reads for only read-only operation. Proper indexing. Use indexing to minimize number of row blocked. Break large transaction. Split transactional into smaller batches. Without deadlock. Okay. With the deadlock. Follow consistent table to access pattern, minimize lock time, and use proper indexing to avoid deadlocks in SQL transactions. What is the use of exist in SQL? Exist is in SQL is used to check whenever a subquery returns any row, it returns true. If the subquery returns at least one row, false. If a subquery return no row. Exist is faster than in for large dataset and is commonly used in subquery to check data existence. What is a query optimization? Query optimization is the process of improving and efficiency and performance of SQL query to retrieve data faster while using minimal system resources. Key points help to reduce query execution time, improve database performance, minimize CPU usage, memory usage, and input-output operation. Automatically perform by query optimization in most RDBMS. Technique for query optimization: use index to speed up searches, avoid select only necessary columns, use a join instead of subqueries when possible, use exist instead of in for large data set, avoid function in where clause, use limit or top to fetch only required rows, analyze the execution plan tool like explanation. Conclusion: query optimization improve execution speed, reduce resources uses, and enhance overall database performance. What is the difference between store procedure and functional SQL? Store procedure can return multiple values, can refer DML operation like insert, update, and delete, support input and output parameters, can call function inside, use of business logic and complex operation. Function is written only one value, scalar or table, cannot be performed DML operation, only support input parameters. Cannot be called store procedure inside, use for calculation and returning values. What is the query optimization? OLTP, online transactional process, used by day transactional operation. Focus on data consistency and speed. Store detailed transactional data. Support insert, update, delete operation. Smaller amount of data processed per transaction. Example, banking system and e-commerce website. OLAP, online analytical process, used for data analysis and reporting, focus on the data aggregation and analysis, store historical and summarized data, support select operation with the complex query, large amount of data process at once, example data warehouse, business intelligence tools. Okay.